I knew as soon as I put this tailpiece in that 3-jaw chuck on the Grizzly, you guys were going to call me out. Rightly so. That's what I get for being frickin' lazy. I already had the 4-jaw on the closing. Let's clean up this inside shoulder a little bit. I'll touch the outside too, just to make sure that's good. There's a little tighter shot of that squared up shoulder. Now that Acme nut will sit flush on the inside of that tail cap. I don't want to take too much off because then the end cap won't fit tight in there. So I got it all cleaned up and it's straight all the way through. I got a little bit of weld in there still, but I don't think it's going to make a bit of difference. So I'm going to clean up these corners a little bit and call this good. There we go, boys and girls. One trued up Wilton bullet tail cap. You see some of the inclusions from the weld. It's not going to make a bit of difference. It's true, it's cleaned up. To the next step. Before I put the spindle nut in the lathe, I want to grind down some of this weld material. It'll be easier on the cutters. I might not even have to put it in the lathe. So let's get grinding. Okay, a little hand file work here. We have to square that shoulder off or it's not going to sit flush inside that spindle nut. Tail piece. Tell you what, man, I don't have many of them, but good files sure pay off. Just ask Tom Lipton. All right, I'm going to call that good. It looks uniform all the way around. Let's give it a test fit in the tail piece. You see the cutouts for the little tabs here. There's only 2 tabs. Let's hope it locks in because remember, this thing spun and that's why it got welded. There we go. Felt like it found a nice home right there. It's locked in right there pretty good. I can knock it out, but then again, I'm not pulling on it that hard either. Okay, so spindle nut, done. Next step. Okay, I have the front jaw sitting in 2 V blocks and it's locked on the key here. We're all locked in. The longest end mill I could find is this 3-inch rougher, high-speed steel. It's probably going to tear it up. I'll just have to take it easy, but it's the biggest end mill I got. So let's go for it, man. Looks like she's cutting, just a little bit at a time though. It's not going easy, but we'll just take our time and keep going. I keep cutting away at it. I got a total of 45 thousandths off since we started, and we still haven't met in the middle yet. The middle looks like it's low and the ends are high. This is purely aesthetics, but the reason I'm doing it in case the horseshoe nut has to come all the way out also, if I can't clean up this shoulder. So I'm going to try to keep a little bit of the shoulder so I can use an original style horseshoe washer here. Give her a go. I got a straight flat cut all the way around now, and it looked like it was 60 thou from start to this point here. We still have a little bit of shoulder, but it looks like it's perfectly straight all the way across. So I'm going to call that a success. As you can see, we need to clean it up with a file, maybe even a little sanding disc. So let's move to the next step. Before we conclude part 5, I would like to talk about what's on tap for part 6 and our next challenge. So I have this somewhat put together. I have a horseshoe washer from another Wilton Vise I have. I cleaned up the 10 by 32 threaded hole so I could install this temporarily. And as you can see, it does protrude from the shoulder here, which is okay because when I talk about this next issue, it's going to be even prouder. So I'm going to hold back here on the spindle nut, and I'm going to show you how much backlash is in this spindle. So I'm holding the spindle nut. I'm going to unscrew this as though I'm going to open the vise. Okay, that's over a half a turn of free play in there. And as I pointed out in the last video, I have about a 3/8 opening on this spindle, which we have to fill up. So I'm going to go back in as though we're closing the vise. Notice where the handle hole is here. And we're going to go. That is a lot of free play there. So I'm going to show you how we're going to resolve that issue. Let's cut. I'm going to disassemble this again and show you how we're going to fix it. So the factory Wilton horseshoe washer is approximately 3/16 inch thick. Like I mentioned before, I have a 3/8 gap in this spindle. So how I'm going to resolve that, I found this 3/8 inch thick heavy washer that's very close to the same diameter as the Wilton factory washer. So that's going to take up this play. So as you can see, this 3/8 thick washer fits in here almost like it was made for it. As you can see though, it is going to show proud, which is okay because we still have our original factory shoulder. And that's going to be our new horseshoe washer right there. So our next fix is going to come in here. We have some slop in here. This spindle is 3/4 inch. That hole opening is 1 inch. So we're going to take some brass and we're going to make a bushing. So what that's going to do, it's going to center up the spindle inside that 1 inch hole, and it's going to give it something to ride on instead of galling it like it did in the past. So we're going to resolve 2 issues by making this bushing. Fill up the gap, center up the spindle, take up the slop, and then it has another wear part that will wear out before this will. So this should last a lifetime after this fix. So this will conclude part 5. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. The build's coming along nice, and we're going to have this bad boy done before you know it, and looking good. So until next time, see ya.